Right now, you are looking at a Playboy magazine model, a popular Instagram blogger, and OnlyFans star who earned on the service millions of dollars. And on top of that, she killed a person with her own hands. Sit back, my dears, because this is terrifying. The girl in the photo is named Courtney Clenney. She was born on the 21st of April, 1996 in Dallas, Texas, USA, in a fairly wealthy family. Courtney's childhood, unlike the subject of the previous video, can safely be called a happy one. Her parents simply adored her and rarely denied her anything. That said, don't think that the future blogger just spent her days playing, resting, and doing nothing else. She did plenty. When the time came to go to school and the family moved to Austin, little Courtney's schedule was already fully packed. Track and field, rhythmic gymnastics, horseback riding, and a whole bunch of other various sports activities. Her parents always told Courtney she was destined for success, apparently expecting that it would find her specifically in sports, and in general, she didn't mind. From her childhood memories, she enjoyed everything she did. But then around the age of 13, the girl's attention completely shifted from sports to the arts. That's when she expressed a desire to attend classes in vocals, acting, and elocution. But since there are only 24 hours in a day, sports activities were reduced to a minimum. The girl's family supported these changes so the child would be happy. So the world of theater was captivating Courtney more and more, and eventually, after finishing high school, she decided not to continue her education at university, moved to Los Angeles, and began building a career as an actress. But this turned out to be, let's just say, quite a bit more difficult than she had imagined. After all, the best people from practically all over the planet fight for a spot on camera. In her first year, the peak of Courtney's success was a small role as an extra in a minor film and an appearance in the music video of a rapper named G-Eazy, who, it should be noted, later became genuinely popular. But these achievements brought Courtney neither fame nor money. Without the first, you can somehow manage, but without the second, it was hard to pay rent. So very soon, Courtney began looking for other ways to express herself. During this period, she started actively doing sports again, specifically fitness, watched her diet, and did everything to improve her physique. In 2016, at the NPC West Coast Classic, she placed 6th and 9th in different categories. Yes, it wasn't a win at the competition, but it was definitely her personal achievement. The result greatly inspired Courtney. She began spending even more time perfecting her body, and within a couple of months, this turned into real success. First place at the NPC Brewski competition. Courtney's parents thought, there it is. It wasn't for nothing after all that we took her. Everywhere, she connected her life to sport. And indeed, she had already forgotten about her acting career and was fully preparing for national competitions. Who knows who she'd be now if during that same period, she hadn't started actively running an Instagram and YouTube, these social media channels. There were no big plans in the style of gaining 1 million subscribers or anything like that. Back then, she simply shared thoughts and vlogs and beautiful photos from workouts on Instagram. The YouTube channel, by the way, still exists. You can find it and watch her videos if you're interested. But the original Instagram account can no longer be found. Anyway, what happened was fitness and nutrition advice videos on YouTube didn't really take off, but the beautiful photos on Instagram did, and how reaching 2 million followers to be precise. So yes, Courtney became a true star. Not that everyone used gray promotion tactics like giveaways and all that, but according to the official version, it was like in a movie. Instagram simply promoted her content everywhere. Various pages reposted it, and people followed by the thousands every day. Of course, the large brands that reached out to her with offers to advertise their products for money couldn't miss this. Among others, representatives of Playboy magazine approached Courtney and offered a photo shoot. She agreed, and this only increased the audience's interest in her blog. And besides that, in July of that very 2016, something else interesting happened: the launch of the OnlyFans service. which I'm not going to ask you to subscribe to because right now figuring out my own buy me a coffee is enough of a challenge. Courtney became one of the first super popular bloggers to open an account there on OnlyFans. As far as is known, the girl didn't post anything vulgar there. I just light erotica, nothing more. But that was more than enough to earn almost $1 million on OnlyFans alone in the following year. This was on top of Instagram ads, barter deals, collaborations, and so on. So yes, the monetization tap was fully open. Predictably, during that period, Courtney made the decision to put her fitness model career on pause and leave Los Angeles altogether, since now she was earning online and could live anywhere, paying far less rent than in LA. In case you didn't know, real estate prices in California are the most expensive in all of the US. Courtney returned to Texas, the city of Austin, rented a huge penthouse there, and immediately dove into a new life full of endless parties and alcohol. The girl's new neighbors recalled that she mostly made a good impression. She was kind and friendly, but only when she was sober. The moment she drank a little too much, she would transform into, let's say, a person you wouldn't want to have anything to do with. Aggressive and irritable. By the way, alcohol had been a problem in her life before too. Back in 2015 in Los Angeles, she was arrested for aggressive behavior while intoxicated. People from her circle at that time recalled that she truly didn't know her limits when it came to alcohol. However, from the moment the girl started seriously doing fitness, she completely quit drinking and for a long time didn't consume it at all, until she gave up on fitness and moved back to Austin. Already in Austin, at the beginning of 2020, love entered the blogger's life alongside the money, in the person of Christian Toby Obumseli, about whom not very much is known. He was born on the 12th of April 1994, did well in school, was remembered as a super sociable, good-natured guy who was always smiling. As a teenager, he got interested in crypto and bought Bitcoin at a very favorable price. He built his adult life entirely around trading. He had no financial problems, at least at the time of meeting Courtney. The first months, the lovers simply couldn't take their eyes off each other. Everything was great and magical, as is often the case at the beginning. But it ended tragically. From the moment Christian moved into Courtney's penthouse, something went wrong. It wasn't that they clashed in their daily habits. It was more about alcohol. Every evening, the couple would arrive at one of the city's bars where Courtney, sparing neither her health nor money, ordered cocktail after cocktail. Christian also drank, but much less compared to his girlfriend. He never got to the point of losing self-control, but she did. Courtney saw absolutely no problem with drinking every day, or with driving in that state either. When Christian tried to talk her out of drinking too much, she would start screaming and saying she would decide for herself when, what, and how to do. On the 16th of September 2020, the girl was arrested for drunk driving. And within a few hours, she was released on $8,000 bail. Money was owed. Absolutely no problem for her, as I mentioned. The aggression and abusive treatment of Christian on Courtney's part only grew. Soon, she wasn't just screaming at him, but also hitting him frequently. First on the shoulder, then on the back, and eventually on the head. And it no longer mattered whether she was drunk or sober, in front of friends or alone together. At any misunderstanding or when something didn't go the way Courtney wanted, she would fly into a rage and lash out at Christian. Here's a quote from one of the couple's friends. There were a few times when she kind of hit him on the head once or twice. Not aggressively, more like how you'd scold a dog when it's done something bad in the house. But my dears, don't hit animals either. The blogger also frequently made dismissive jokes about Christian. Things like, oh, he's whatever, I won't be with him for long. And this in the presence of Christian himself. Soon, even the couple's neighbors started noticing something was off. Quote, Christian always walked behind Courtney with his eyes cast down as if he'd done something wrong, and often wouldn't look at other people at all. In this video, which I'll show now, Courtney is talking to a cop whom she herself had called, supposedly because Christian had attacked her. But from the officer's questions and the answers Courtney gave it, becomes clear that perhaps everything isn't quite what she's trying to present. The video has no translation, just subtitles, so if you're just listening right now, look at the screen. Click it after this incident. Christian's body had numerous scratches and bruises, while Courtney had none at all. That day, she was arrested, but Christian refused to testify against his girlfriend, and within 12 hours, she was released. In general, there's no evidence whatsoever that Christian responded to aggression with aggression. The guy always covered for Courtney in front of all his friends and law enforcement, whenever it came to that. By the way, here's a quote from a letter he wrote to his girlfriend. "I want to be everything to you. Your boyfriend, your best friend, your partner for life, the person you trust. You're the only one I want to spend my entire life with." It seems Christian truly both loved and forgave everything, the beatings, the insults, even knife wounds. She inflicted the first one on him in November 2021, stabbing him in the leg during an argument. Here's what Christian wrote to her the following day. I'm reading from their private messages, which were later released during the investigation. "The most important thing about this is that when you stabbed me in the leg yesterday and saw how badly it hurt me, I couldn't even walk. You said you wished you could take away my pain. You wished it were you and not me. The next morning, I still woke up happy and gave you a wonderful day despite the fact that my leg was hurting because my girlfriend stabbed me with a knife. I took you to Vegas, paid for everything, and drank with you so that you'd have a good day, and I did all of this despite my leg hurting very badly. Did I make you feel bad about what you did? No, I just accepted it all and hoped that tomorrow would be better." The couple constantly broke up, then got back together. Once Courtney, for example, packed up Christian's things and threw them out the window, said, "That's it, period. I don't want to see you anymore." The guy moved out, but within 2 days received from his girlfriend a gift, a Louis Vuitton suitcase, and an apology. After that, they got back together, all in love again. That's pretty much what their relationship looked like. They wanted to change something, but didn't know how, and thought, let's move to a new city. Let's try to start fresh there. Christian really wanted to move to London, but the final word was Courtney's. She chose Miami. After moving for a while, things were genuinely okay, more or less. Courtney even eased up on alcohol, but within a few weeks slipped back into old habits. And with that, the arguments returned. Please look at the screen right now. This is a recording from February 21st, 2022. Courtney enters the elevator and hits the touch panel, then turns on her boyfriend. Christian doesn't touch her at all, just pushes her away. And even that, it seems to me, was not rough at all. The level of tension in the relationship only grew with each day together, along with Courtney's aggression and instability. In March 2022, she lunged at Christian with a knife again. Here's what he wrote to her after that. "Love will kill me. The knife cut my lip. What is going to happen next time, Coco? February was the worst period of my life. You kicked me out, cheated, and called me that word. I got stitches that came apart several times. They're taking a very long time to heal. This is not a word-for-word translation. I try to make it understandable in terms of meaning and content. The originals are left in. You can translate them yourself somewhere." So it became known that later Christian also began appearing as Courtney's partner on OnlyFans. Officially, this idea belonged to Courtney herself, supposedly to earn more from this content. And this was already something more explicit than just intimate photos. Overall, by the way, during her time on the OnlyFans service, the girl earned around $3 million until she lost the ability to produce new content. Since, behind bars, that's quite difficult. Let's get back to that right after I tell you about my mugs. I'd be incredibly grateful if you support the channel by getting yourself one of these mugs with the mustache or any other one you like. Not only would it make me incredibly happy, it would genuinely help the channel grow. 10% of sales I'll direct towards supporting our wonderful army. Follow the link in the description, choose your mug, stickers, and come back to watch the video. Thank you, you are love. So at the start of April 2022, it seemed like it was all finally over. The relationship was heading to an end between Courtney and Christian. But still, the 3rd of April, the day of the couple, began quite peacefully to us. They laughed together, played with their dogs, and joked around a lot. After lunch, Christian went out to take a little walk and buy some food. He returned home at approximately 4:32 p.m. Just 25 minutes later, Courtney called 911 to report that he had been stabbed with a knife. Stabbed by her. During this call, the operator could hear the boy's voice in the background. He was saying, "I think I'm dying. And also, I can't feel my hands. I'm dying." Courtney was telling him, "I'm so sorry, baby," and for a very long time couldn't give the emergency responders the address for them to come to. Eventually, it was Christian himself who gave it, while dying. Christian, here's the original clip with subtitles. Here is, when paramedics and police arrived at Courtney's apartment, she was covered in blood and sitting on the floor holding her barely alive boyfriend. For the next few hours, doctors did everything possible to save him, but the efforts were in vain. Unfortunately, the wound was incompatible with life, so Christian died at the age of 27 at the hands of his lover. Courtney Clenney was detained as the sole suspect. At the start of the interrogation, she didn't yet know that Christian was dead and claimed that it was just a harmless argument, and she was defending herself when he was hitting her. Specifically, he grabbed her by the throat and pushed her into the wall, then forcefully threw her to the floor, after which she threw the knife not even at him but just in his direction from roughly 3 meters away. Except there were absolutely no marks of beating on the girl, nor any sign that Christian had choked her. But his body, dead at that, spoke for itself. That her boyfriend, Courtney, was no longer alive was told to her right during the interrogation. Here's the original footage. Yes, music. Realizing that her defense was about to collapse, she declared that she posed a danger to herself and those around her due to mental health issues. And this wasn't done without reason. The thing is that according to Florida's Baker Act law, Courtney instantly passed from police custody into the hands of psychiatrists. During this time, her lawyer was doing everything to get the case closed as quickly as possible. It was closed the very next day. As is known, Courtney could afford a very good lawyer. Within 3 days, Courtney left the hospital and essentially just continued living her life. Went to bars, drank a lot, and spent money. That was entirely Courtney's business. But while she was spending it on parties and alcohol, Christian's family was forced to crowdfund money to organize his funeral. Some of Courtney's followers didn't give a single cent. Christian's relatives also called on all those who cared to call law enforcement representatives, demanding a proper investigation that would last a little longer than a couple of days. And this bore fruit. Christian's case received enormous publicity, naturally, considering that the killer was a blogger with 2 million followers, a Playboy model, and a successful one at that. It wasn't dying down, but was growing every day. Courtney then understood that she could no longer simply spend time in public places quietly. Here in this video, when she is drinking with her father at a bar, other patrons ask her to leave, politely. And still, aside from that, Courtney's life didn't change much, except she started drinking even more. Much more. It all ended with her checking into rehab at one of the clinics on the Hawaiian Islands. And it was there on August 10th, 2022, that she was arrested and extradited to Florida for second-degree non-premeditated murder. You see, all this time, Christian's family hadn't been sitting with folded hands. A little more money than needed was donated to his funeral, which made it possible to hire a good lawyer who took on the guy's case. The prosecution very carefully prepared evidence, so it would be irrefutable. The autopsy of Christian's body showed that the knife was not thrown at him from a distance of 3 meters. He was stabbed at close range using considerable force. Also, during the new investigation, around 12,000 messages of Christian and Courtney's correspondence were reviewed, from which it became clear that the main abuser in the relationship was absolutely, without question, the girl. Additionally, yet another interesting fact from Courtney's past surfaced, from 2017. It turned out that back then, she had tried to stab her previous partner, a well-known bodybuilder whom she had also frequently hit on the head, I don't know how or with what, but on one occasion, she even broke his jaw. Please look at the screen if you're only listening. This girl broke this guy's jaw. This man didn't testify against Courtney in 2017 because back then he was hiding their relationship. He was married. But after learning about the fate of his ex's last boyfriend, he finally gave his testimony. Also, audio and video recordings from Christian's phone were made public, ones he had secretly recorded in the months before his death. In one of them, Courtney got upset that Christian had greeted an acquaintance on the street. Just listen to this conversation. The video with subtitles continues. NG. All the gathered materials gave the prosecution sufficient grounds to charge Courtney with second-degree murder. And according to Florida law and all the circumstances of the crime, this means she faces life in prison with possibility of early release no earlier than after 16 years spent behind bars. The girl's lawyer immediately filed a motion to ban all the secretly made evidence by Christian, so they couldn't be used during the court proceedings, but this motion was rejected. Courtney was also denied the possibility of being released on bail because the court deemed her a danger to society. Right now, she is behind bars awaiting the final hearing, which is set to take place this year, and trials in the US can last years and even decades. Just recall the video about the talk show killer who spent decades waiting for the execution of a death sentence. So for now, it's unknown how this story will ultimately end. But one thing is certain. Violence and toxicity in relationships never lead anywhere good, no matter who hits whom. It always ends badly. My dears, if you've watched the video all the way to this moment, you know you are the best. Don't let anyone hurt you. Please take care of yourselves. With you was the unseen witness. See you next week. And in the meantime, watch this video or this one. They're all so great, right? Bye, everyone.